Hey guys, in today's video we're checking out a set of in-ear monitors that have ambient mics built into the earbuds themselves, and you get to control how much of that ambient mic sound you want let into your in-ear monitors. The biggest complaint that most people have about in-ear monitors is how isolating they feel. They want to feel the room and the crowd and the band on stage a little bit more, and with in-ear monitors they feel a little bit isolated. But with these in-ear monitors, they actually have ambient mics built into them, and you have different ways to control it with some of the buttons and switches that it has on the in-ear monitors itself. Pretty wild, and it is a way to not feel isolated when you have in-ear monitors in. These are the HELYES system by IEM. That's in-ears with a Z. HEL stands for Hear Everything Live system. It's a really cool way to not feel isolated when you are performing live with in-ear monitors. You get one switch and one button on each of the in-ear monitors. One will turn on or off the ambient mics, and one button will control the level of the ambient mics. I've been gigging with these over the last couple of months, and long story short, they are now my new in-ear monitors that I use at all my shows. I specifically waited to do this video until after I had a couple of travel dates. I was able to play in Florida and Vegas recently, and I brought these to those shows, and they worked great. I never feel like I have to take an in-ear monitor out to not feel isolated. Pretty cool. So many thanks to INEARS for sending this over for me to check out for the channel. This is not a paid video or anything like that. They did just send me a set of custom molds, and all the opinions in this video are my own, but like I said, these are my new in-ear monitors that I use at all my shows now. So I'm going to go over it to see if this is something that you could be interested in. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more music gear tutorials and reviews like this in the future, and let's go ahead and get started. So the packaging of this is really nice, and you get quite a few things in here. So first of all, you get this soft case if you want to carry it around in a soft case, but you also get this hard case right here. It even has your name on the front of it if you want to carry it around with a little bit more protection. So they give you multiple options of carrying it around, which is good because you want to protect your high-end in-ears when you travel. You do also get your ear molds back. Yes, they're kind of weird looking. And then just a couple of small accessories you get in this case. You get a cleaning cloth as well as this attachment with a button on it. And you also get this cleaning tool, which is important for cleaning your in-ear monitors, which I definitely need to do often. And then over here is the big reveal for your in-ear monitors right here. Really nice packaging. It's definitely a nice touch, especially when you get new gear, and just the packaging is really nice. And here are the in-ear monitors. They look so cool. Such a unique design with these. Even have my name here on the side of them with the type that I got, which is great. And I'm going to show you some of the controls on how to use them here in a little bit. And also included on the cable, it does have this sliding ball pin so that you can attach it so that it doesn't move around when you turn your head from side to side, which is always a nice touch. You do also have this case, and this case is what uses to charge the in-ear monitors. You don't have to have the in-ear monitors charged to use them normally, but if you want to use the ambient mics, you do want to charge them, and it charges in this case right here. So in this case, it gives you a USB to micro USB cable, and they do include this little device right here to convert USB power just into standard power so you can plug it in wherever you need to, which is also a really nice touch. I'm glad they included so much stuff in this. But yeah, here is the cable, and you plug that in here on the back right here, and just plug it in, and that will charge the in-ear monitors. To charge the in-ear monitors, they kind of attach magnetically to these little things right here, and you'll feel it snap in. You feel it lock in, and then when you plug it in, you'll see the red light lighting up, which means that it is charging. The red lights in the in-ear monitors themselves. So as far as controls, you get controls on each of the in-ear monitor earbuds. They're the exact same on both sides, so I'm just going to show you on one. So this first one right here is the switch. So you can see this switch. If you have it off, you have no ambient mics. And if you turn it on, now you do have ambient mics. And on top of that, you also have this little button right here. So this will turn up the sound of the ambient mics. So you keep pushing it and it'll go all the way up to 10. When you get up to 10, it will beep multiple times, letting you know you've maxed out. And then you touch it again to go back to 1, which is the lowest amount of ambient mics. Very cool that you get to control that all from your in-ear monitors. And on top of that, you can also access different memories, as they call it, by holding the button. So the way that mine is configured is that if I hear a single beep, I get the full range. If I hold the button again, I'll get 2 beeps, and that'll be a mid-frequency emphasis. And if I do it again, I'll get 3 beeps, and that will be a mid and high frequency emphasis. So you get to change the EQ controls and the amount of ambient mics that you hear all with this button. Pretty insane. So as far as price, okay, really quick before I talk about price, I try to review high-end stuff for musicians and budget stuff for musicians on this channel. These are custom molds with 6 drivers, with ambient mics built into it, and with controls on the earbuds themselves. This is going to fall into the high-end professional level stuff. I just wanted to get that out of the way right at the beginning. So as far as price, there are different options for how many drivers you get, and it goes from the low end of a dual driver system for $15.59 all the way up to the 6 driver system, which is $23.99 or $21.99. I specifically have the Euphoria one. I did ask, the Soul one is more flat frequency response, and the Euphoria one has a little bit more bass and a little bit more high-end, like a V shape. But you can see that they have dual driver models, triple drivers, 4 drivers, and 6 driver options. They also do have universal fit ones as well if you don't want to go all out with the custom molds. But in order to get the ones with the ambient mics, the HELYES system in particular, those are only done with the custom molds. And that's one of the coolest things about this system, in my opinion. So as far as my experience with these, like I said, these are now my new in-ear monitors. I've been using them over the last couple of months, and I'm going to keep using them. I've done it at some smaller gigs and some bar gigs, and it worked great. Did a show solo, and they worked really well just to be able to hear the room again, even in a smaller crowd, kind of like that. But like I mentioned earlier, I was able to travel recently. I was able to go to Orlando to play at the Hard Rock, and I was also able to go to Vegas to play at the House of Blues, and I specifically waited until after those shows to do this review. Those shows were awesome. These worked really well. I really wanted to play, big shows and small shows with these. Sound of them is already great, even by themselves. Even if I turn the ambient mics off, they still sounded awesome. So the quality is good. It's not just the ambient mics. It's pretty trippy to be able to hear the room while you are playing. You almost feel like, are my in-ears in? But you can hear your mix. We play to a click track, and that's the way I can always tell. It's like, well, this isn't going to front of house. I can definitely hear the click in my ears as well as the room. Pretty cool to be able to hear people cheering for you and stuff like that. I do find setting the mic level, so remember you have about 10 different settings for how much you want of the ambient mics. I do find about the halfway point is definitely the best spot for it. Going above that, it gets to be a little bit too much, and it almost sounds a little tinny when you take it up too high. But again, there are times where I want a little bit more of the room noise, and there are other times where I want to be isolated. So it's really nice that I have that control. Do I want to turn it up or do I want to turn it down? And so I did have some interesting things happen during sound check in Vegas. It seems almost like there's almost like a phase cancellation sometimes when you have like the live drums and my ears going, which is really interesting. But then it seems to go away when everyone plays. Like that was, I think the bigger the room, like the more echo, and you kind of get like a delay and like a phase thing. But then when everyone starts playing, it sounds fine. So it is a kind of a weird thing with the ambient mics. It almost feels like there's like a delay in the sound, but there's not once you hear everyone start playing. So just something to keep in mind. So I think what it is, it's like the drums sound the weirdest with the ambient mics. Like the cymbals sound a little weird, and like something that hits like the snare drum, like almost has like a delay to it or something like that. But again, when you start playing with the band, it's not really noticeable. I think the cymbals sound the weirdest with the ambient mics, but you still don't feel isolated. So it's pretty cool. I don't know, just figured I'd let you know while I'm at the show. I didn't want to forget this. But then I played the show and I filmed this. Yeah, so these actually worked really well. So like the phase issues that I had during soundcheck went away completely. It was really cool to like go to the drums, and the drums got louder. And then like our violin player came over to me and like said stuff to me, and I could actually hear it. And at the end of the night, I actually like took them out just to see if there was a difference. And when you take them out, it sounds like, and you put them back in, it sounds the same. So it's really wild actually. So it might sound weird like during sound check for like phase issues, but then as soon as you start playing, it sounds awesome. So these are actually really cool. So I'm really glad that I have these. So many thanks to In-Ears. So what are any possible cons or room for improvement for this? First one is that I do think they do need to switch over to a USB-C cable for the charging. I personally don't mind. They include a micro USB cable. It doesn't bother me, but I know that there are quite a few people who get upset if it's not USB-C, and there's a lot of people who hate micro USB. So the case is a little bit weird, the one that charges it. There's this part that sticks out and makes it weird to kind of put the cable back in. So usually what I do is I charge the in-ears with the case open, and then when it's done, then I'll wrap everything up and put it away and close the lid. That's what I find out works best. Again, not a deal breaker, it's not the end of the world. But the only thing is that one time I showed up to a show and one of the in-ear monitors was out of charge, so I wasn't able to use the ambient mics in that ear. Keep in mind, you can still use these these without a charge. They do not need to be charged. It's just for the ambient mics, they need to be charged. So this ear did not have ambient mics, but this one did because this one wasn't charged. I don't know if it got bumped in the case or if I just forgot to shut it off. That's one of the things you might do, is you might forget to shut them off, and then you go to put them away, and then you charge them and you think they're charged, but then they just drain the battery. So just make sure that they're always off. So again, not a deal breaker. The case I definitely think could be just improved a little bit. Or I could just switch over to that other hard case and just use the other one for charging. The biggest thing I think that will turn most people off to this is when you do turn on those ambient mics, you do hear a decent amount of noise. There is definitely this noise that comes in. It's pretty audible for sure. When I first put them in, I was like, wow, that's quite a bit. But as soon as I started playing, it went away completely, and I completely forget that they're even in. You only hear it when it's like dead silent. Once you start playing and hear your mix, that goes away. So I think it's fine. It is just something to be aware of. Overall, I love them. I'm going to continue to use them. You do need, for this model, you do need to send custom molds. So you need to get impressions done and then go send them over to them so that they can create the in-ears for you. If you're unfamiliar with that process, I documented the process of me and my wife doing that. And we interviewed the guy, Gianni, who did the in-ear monitor molds for us and answered a couple of questions that I had that you guys might have as well. And speaking of, when I went to get my molds done for these new in-ear monitors by In-Ears, I went and saw Gianni again, and he actually told me there were a couple of updates since that video came out about the process. So he just wanted to make sure that I updated you guys with a few details. So here's what he had to say.
Okay, so a while back we did a video and we did impressions on Scott, and I just wanted to do like an edit or a, what do you call it, like a update or reprise kind of.
Yeah.
So we didn't use a mouth block when we did it, and I think that at some point, like when we were doing the impression, Scott was like, should I keep my mouth closed, whatever. And I was like, oh, you can sing, you can move around, do kind of the things that you would do to do it. But really, most companies now are required to use a mouth block, which fits in like this. It keeps your mouth open and it keeps the ear canals open a little bit so that you get a better fit, so you don't have many remakes. So a lot of the companies that I've been working with are requiring this. So if you did watch the first video and you saw that, you definitely, when you're going to get your impressions, the person, the audiologist or the hearing instrument specialist, whoever you're working with, make sure that they're using this, because you're going to get the best fit you can. As we do this kind of stuff, we learn as we go. So I learned. So I just want to send this out because Scott has such a good channel that allows us to all learn this stuff as we go. This is a perfect way to kind of update you guys and make sure that when you go get your ear mold impressions that you want to use the bite block.
Nice. Thanks, man.
Cool.
So that's basically it. I hope this video helped you guys out. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. It's always a free way to support the channel, feed the YouTube algorithm gods, and I would appreciate it. I will have links down below if you do want to check the system out for yourself, so be sure to check the description to check those out. So 2 other videos of mine to check out. If you guys are curious on what is a good in-ear monitor system for you to get, I do have a comprehensive wireless buying guide that goes over wireless mics, guitars, and in-ear monitors, and I go over what is the best one, going from cheap all the way up to high end. You can check out that video. And also, one of the best in-ear monitor systems, I think, is the one by Audio-Technica. I've always been a Shure and Sennheiser guy for a long time, but I checked out the Audio-Technica, and I actually think those are the best, especially at the price point for a high-end system. So check out my review on that as well. You can check out both of those videos by clicking the links on your screen now. Once again, many thanks to In-Ears for sending this over for me to check out. If you guys have any other cool gear you want to check out, please leave them as a comment down below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at ScottYuleMusic. I'm on other social media as well, but Instagram's the main one I use. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.